Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Porsche-centric tune for Forza Horizon 3 in particular. And again, as I said, we are carrying on the Porsche theme with another free Forzathon Porsche Cayman, or Porsche in general, but it is the Cayman GTS. And although this car doesn't have the same power as, say, a Carrera GT or a 918 Spider or a couple of the others, it's actually got some pretty incredible benchmark numbers. Now, it is a Porsche, so that's not too surprising. It's going to be a good car either way, but it's actually not far off the performance of, in particular, the two that I mentioned, the Carrera and the 918. Now, I would, as you can see, recommend the 4-litre flat-six engine. As far as the drivetrain, I would recommend converting it, in this case, to all-wheel drive. As far as the aspiration, you pretty obviously want that twin turbo, and then as far as the rest, of course, just fit whatever you want according to the car class that you want it to be in. Of course, for the best results, fit everything with race in the title, but in particular with stuff like tyres and weight loss, if you remove a couple of parts, you can actually have essentially the same straight line performance, but in a lower class. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you want it in this particular form or in a preset form I should say, you can get it on my storefront. So just check out the description below, use those keywords, and you'll find it pretty easily. Now, as I said, the benchmark on this car is strong, especially in comparison to the 918, which we did the tune for yesterday. 2.2 to 60 is not bad. 4.1 to 100 is not that far behind the 918 either, and even the top speed of 267 is no slouch at all, especially given how much less power this car has than many of the other cars which we would typically build, including the Porsche supercars. Now, as far as the gearbox, I would recommend a final drive of 3.4, then individual gears of 2.9, 1.99, 1.5, 1.18, 0.95 and 0.78, so a pretty conventional setup, a familiar one as well to people who have used my tunes before. As far as alignment, we've got neutral camber and tow, 4 degrees of caster, but of course, as with any of the settings, feel free to personalise them for your own driving style if you want to. Anti-roll we've got on 28 and 24, springs on 135 and 196. I've actually opted to leave the ride height stock, as you can see, and the reason for that is because I just like the stock ride height on the car. I like the way it looks. Lowering it isn't going to hurt the car, it lowers the centre of gravity, which can only help, but you don't necessarily have to do it. As far as dampers, we've got those on 12, 15, 6 and 7. Aero doesn't apply, of course, and as far as the diff, as I would usually do, we've got 100% on acceleration, 0 on decel, but as always, feel free to change those if you see the need. And again, like the 918 Spider, I've got a 75% split in favour of that back end to give you that all-wheel drive advantage, but still to allow it to be playful, to have good cornering, and of course to drift if you want to. So as I said, the tune is on the storefront, or you can make some variation of it yourself, but all that remains of course is to take it out on the street to see if it can actually hit that speed. Now, as I said, of course, this car does have great benchmark numbers. They're not just good, they really are outstanding for a car of its power, but as many of you guys will already know, having good benchmark numbers is not the same as being a good performance car. Not that this is bad, of course not, but although the specs are very close to something like a Carrera GT or a 918 or some other non-Porsches as well, don't necessarily expect to beat those cars or even come up head-to-head with them in actual drag races, for instance, because yes, benchmark numbers are good, but they only measure up to 0 to 100 times, and with a car like the 918, for instance, the top-end speed is so quick, the top-end acceleration in particular, that it just doesn't stand a chance, or this car doesn't stand a chance against it. That being said, it's certainly not slow, and it does it with a lot less power. So if you do decide to use this tune, get it from the storefront, do it yourself, either way, I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and of course there are plenty more on the channel to check out. But that's it for this tune overall. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.